Diego. Nice to be here, Lost. Where's that drummer?
It's usually me who's late, but it seems Alan White has disappeared.
Well, that's the first time that's happened. They're calling out the red alert, and you feel that you've fallen too far. In the darkest of darkest nights, reach out for a star. Sometime, some way, your dreams awaken. Will not be forsaken, and like a phoenix rising into the midnight skies, but you will realize, stardust in your eyes. When you feel like you're out of time, don't know which way to run, can't find the finishing line, and all your hope has gone. Feel lost in a deadly maze, don't know quite where you are. In those darkest of darkest days, reach out for a star. Sometime, some way, your dreams awaken. You will not be forsaken, and like a phoenix rising into the midnight skies, of the clouds. Reach out and shout your name out loud. Even though your heart is breaking, you don't know where to run. And the road that stands before you is treacherous and long. Reach out and touch the sky. Reach out and touch the sky. And wait for the sign. When all is said and done, it's just a matter of time. Your day will come sometime. Somewhere your dreams away. You will not be forsaken. And like a phoenix rising into the midnight sky. There's stardust in your eyes. Your dreams will awaken. You will not be forsaken. And like a phoenix rising into the midnight sky. Well, you will realize there's stardust in your eyes. Wait for the sign. When all is said and done, it's just a matter of time. Your day will come. Your day will come. Thank you.
I'd just like to re-endorse that the band's name is spelled S-Y-N.
Yeah, it's kind of an apt place to be, isn't it, really? But it's wonderful to be here in San Diego, actually. We were due to be here a couple of times before. We never made it for various reasons to do with this charity gig that we did up in Los Angeles earlier in the week. But finally we're here, so thank you for waiting, and thank you for coming. Thank you. And it's great to be here. And thanks for coming out in the rain, actually. The rain's following us. We were in San Francisco yesterday, torrential downpour, and it seemed to have followed us down here. So, but we're used to that. We're from London, so. Okay, this one actually is kind of apt. It's called Cathedral of Love. Of love. Taking and ask for nothing in return. Where you find humor, compassion, the flame of love will burn. But in her eyes, they were smiling. Standing in the cathedral of love. take with me to my journey's end. In my darkest hour, a stranger had become my closest friend. I looked in her eyes, they were smiling, just like an angel from above. And in that moment I realized I was standing in the cathedral of love. I was standing in the cathedral of love. Thank you very much. I suppose this is, you could say this is a cathedral of love. And it's very nice to be here. Those first two songs were from our album called Syndestructible. And this next song is not from Syndestructible, but it's a song which is going to be on our next album, and we just kind of half recorded it. And we're going to play it now. It's a song called Silent Revolution. Like falling midnight rain, can't see it in the darkness, it's out there just the same. Man talking on the radio, saying don't go out tonight. Something's not right. Found a new solution, people's constitution. Revolution, silent majority, people like you and me, a silent revolution, silent revolution, revolution. Deserted, is it an illusion? Nobody around, there's not a single sound. Tension in the skies, panic on the ground. Politicians and counselors running everywhere. Something's in the the politicians say. Doesn't matter what they put in our way. Mountains, oceans, earthquakes or hurricanes, nothing's gonna stop us reaching our way. 'Cause we have had enough. Innocent man, stand up, stand up. Innocent man, stand up, stand up. Innocent man, stand up. Fed up with corruption, social destruction, untruths and deception. It's time for reconstruction. Time to make a stand, make them understand. Peace and love is working in a brotherhood of man. Brotherhood of man, yeah, yeah. Found a new solution, people's constitution. Silent revolution, silent majority. People like you and people like me in a silent revolution. Silent, silent revolution. Silent, silent revolution. Revolution, yeah, yeah. I don't care what the politicians say. Doesn't matter what they put in our way. Earthquakes or hurricanes, oceans or mountains, no one's gonna stop us reaching our way. We have had enough. Innocent man, stand up, stand up. Innocent man, stand up, stand up. Innocent man, stand up. Found a new solution, people's constitution. Silent revolution. Silent majority. I said people like you and people like me in a silent revolution. Silent, silent revolution. Silent, silent revolution. Silent, silent revolution. Silent, silent revolution. Revolution. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, this will come as a big surprise to many people here, but the Syn actually started, I know because we look very young, but we actually started in the 60s. Hard to believe, isn't it? What was our congratulations? Syn stands for, actually it's Greek, which means the coming together musically, actually. That's where it came from. By luck. Because we didn't realise that till after we thought of the name. But that's what, actually Syn means that in Greek, in ancient Greek. So that's by luck we got a good name, I guess. We actually thought of the name Syn because it was like The Who, which are our big heroes in the 60s. We wanted a short three-worded name. Three-letter name, I mean. There was 2 words, 3 letters. Yeah. But but Syn, so that's the kind of history. But we did start in the 60s, and we're going to do some couple of those numbers now, 3 in fact, but something very important to us, and that is we're going to dedicate it to a very, very good friend of ours, who was the original keyboard player from the Syn. His name was Andrew Price Jackman, and he was very, very close to everybody involved with the band, particularly myself and Chris, and I'd say particularly Chris because they knew each other since they were 5 years old. Andrew was a wonderful, wonderful musician and person, and very sadly passed away in 2003. And that's why we're going to dedicate these songs to him. Thank you. We're going to start with a song called Grounded, then we're going to do Flower Man, and then finish it with Forging Our Technicolor Dream. Here we go.
When we were a pop group.
Grounded. to keep your feet on the ground. Could it be that you're caught up in a gravitational pull? Society making you out to be a fool. Get a job, come become a queen. Prettiest girl the world has ever seen. The 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor dream. Shades of orange, shades of green, shades of purple, black and tangerine, shades of blue and even cream. It's a 14-hour Technicolor dream. Get your troubles, do what you like, shoot yourself and lose yourself, that'll be alright. 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor dream. Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor dream. 14-hour Technicolor dream, yeah, yeah. They're showing movies, yes they are. It's so groovy, yes it is. Everybody's gonna be there, yeah. Juicy cream cheese gonna be there, yeah. And I said, have a cabana, smoke a banana, I said, do what you wanna do. It's a 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor, 14-hour Technicolor dream. Thank you. Little bit of history. And now we're going to move on to another song. And someone's very kindly, I actually left my guitar in England because I'm stupid. Well, Chris said I was stupid. Anyway.
Not all the time.
But someone's very kindly, somebody here who's in strangely enough, actually in a Yes tribute band, a very good one. He's very kindly, the guitarist very kindly lent me his guitar. The only thing is his strap. He must be much smaller than me. And thinner. Stand up, where are you? But thank you very much for this. So
He's in a band called Roundabout.
Roundabout's the band, yeah. Yeah, they've got a very good reputation. Okay, so this is a song which is, we actually wrote this song in the 20th century. And for that reason, we used to call it In the 20th Century. But now we call it In the 21st Century. But I don't think the sentiment has changed actually much across the centuries.
That's right. So, normally when we do this in the clubs, I do a little reenactment of what happened to the Syn in the 60s, and there's usually a little bit of profanity involved, but probably shouldn't be tonight. Anyway, I know. So, anyway, so the Syn those three songs we just played, they were sort of like our claim to fame, really, plus one other song called Created by Clive, which was a real poppy kind of like song that we had that would have gone down well in San Francisco. Anyway, we don't do that one, though. It was about a fashion model or something. Anyway, we were touring around London and England as well as a young band in the mid-60s, and we had some pretty good luck, and that song Flower Man actually was our #1 song in France, not in England, but in France, and so we played there quite a few times. And then after that had dropped out of the French charts, we found ourselves picking up the regular Tuesday evening support spot at the Marquee Club in London, which was very well known for having a lot of good acts on that night. The well-known acts, acts that had hits and were successful, and we managed to work ourselves into the position of being the opening act for those bands, and so therefore we played with a lot of people who went on to become extremely famous. Apart from that, the particular week I'm referring to, we'd been touring around in the north of England, and in those days, no cell phones, no computers, nothing. When you went out of London, you didn't know what was going on that week in London, and I don't think we even had TV. We probably did, but anyway, we never watched TV. So the thing was, we were playing in these clubs we'd been to a few times. It was getting a little jaded because we'd had better days, and maybe not because of us, but because the weather was extremely bad, as it can be in England, and wet and rainy, and people weren't coming out that week. But we were looking forward very much to coming down to playing at the Marquee Club in London for our regular Tuesday night spot, and we were going to be the opening act for Cliff Bennett and the Rebel Rousers, who had a huge hit, a #1 hit actually, with Paul McCartney's "Got to Get You Into My Life," which I think was on the Revolver album. Somebody said it was the other night, so I'm going to say that from now on. And we were expecting to support them because the Marquee Club had a kind of a policy that the support band would pick up a slight taste of the action, financially, if there was, a good crowd in the house. And so we needed that because it had been, as I said, a bit of a doggo kind of week. And so we are loading our equipment into the back of the Marquee Club, and there was a band rehearsing on stage, and I turned to Andrew Jackman, I think, and said to him, "That's very odd. We've tried to rehearse here before when we needed to run a couple of routines, but they always said, no, it's against, we never allow that at the Marquee Club." And yet there were these three guys rehearsing on stage, trying to learn a song. And so I remember sitting down on one of the seats in the front row and thinking, my God, these guys are trying to learn a 5-note riff, and it's taking about 15 minutes. And the bass player just doesn't seem to understand what the guitar player is teaching him. I wanted to literally go and take the bass out of the bass player's hand and go, no, it's that one, that one, that one, that one. They're all in a row, very easy to do. And pardon me, I've got a bit of a chesty cough from all the air conditioning. But however, I then went out to the front of the club where the under manager, not the main manager, had just arrived for the day. And I said to him, "Jack, who are these guys rehearsing on the stage? Because it's getting close to the time when we need to set up our equipment, and more than that, Cliff Bennett and the Rebel Rousers need to come in and set up their equipment first, as being the main act, and we need to set our equipment up in front of theirs." And he goes, "I really have no idea." So he called the main office, and he came back and said, these guys, they're rehearsing. No, they're the main act tonight. And I said to him, well, you really think so? They're the main act? I've watched them try to learn 5 notes for the last 15 minutes, and it's just, no, it's not working very well. And then, of course, we went along with it, and we set our equipment up, and then we went, the other guys went down to the Greek cafe, which was just a little bit down the road, and I was changing my bass guitar strings in the dressing room. And the guitar player from this band that came in and started talking to me, and he said, "Oh, a friend of mine in Seattle's got a little bass like that. It's pretty cool." And I kind of looked at him like, "What?" That was odd because for two reasons. A, in those days, a guitar player never usually spoke to a bass player. We had different cliques. There was the bass player, the guitar player clique, and the twain would never really meet. And the second odd thing about it was, I've been brought up in a pretty much middle-class background, and I'd gone to a good school that had a couple of people from odd places around the world who graduated somehow to get there. But this was in, I guess, when I started off doing that, it was in the 50s and going into the 60s. And I met an Egyptian guy once and some guy from Swaziland or something. But the odd thing about talking to this guy was this was the first black man I'd ever spoken to a Negro in my life, ever. And so not only was he a guitar player, but he was also black. But we actually then, while I was changing my strings, had a great conversation, and I said, "Well, have a good gig tonight." And he said, "Oh, yeah, same to you." And I went off to join the other guys, and we were sitting there feeling a little depressed because we thought, my God, we really needed that extra percentage to get through the week. And as we were sitting there, the line from the club started to pass the window of the cafe. And we went, God, that line's for the club. And I think one of us went out and looked. Yeah, it is. So, we ordered dessert, I think it was a rum bar between 5 people. Anyway, we were quite good being frugal, and that's another reason Andrew Jackman was a very good moderator in the band, telling us what we could do and we couldn't do. So maybe we had 2 rum bars as the line got bigger. Anyway, we got back to the club, and it was so packed as the people were going in. I said to the guy earlier, "Okay, so what's going on? Why is there this huge thronging crowd?" He goes, "I have no idea," but he was just taking money like this. And we got to the dressing room and got ready to do our show. And then the real manager of the place arrived, and he walked in and he said, "Okay, you're on in 2 minutes." Now, the Marquee Club in those days was configured, like I said earlier, with a bunch of seats, maybe about 4 rows of 10 seats in the front, and then everyone else was standing. And, of course, on slow nights, there was probably just the seats, and other nights, the club was fuller. So that's the way they had it set up. So we went onto the stage, which we were now quite excited because there was a lot of people in there. And as I walked up to my microphone and, the usual 1, 2, check, like one does, I happened to look down at the first few rows of seats, and I saw a guy I thought looked really like George Harrison. And I thought, yeah, I think that is George Harrison, because he's sitting next to John Lennon. And he's sitting next to Steve Winwood, who's sitting next to Paul McCartney, who's sitting next to Pete Townsend, and there's Mick, and then Keith. And this somehow then became, my God, this is like a rock and roll dream. Here we are playing to all of my idols. Or it could have been a rock and roll nightmare, because it could have been. However, the Syn did manage to turn in a professional set, and after every song, everyone, including the Beatles and the Stones and whoever else was there, Clapton was there, they all applauded us at the end of every song, and it was just so realistic beyond belief. And we got off the stage. Later I said to Pete Townsend, when Yes had done some shows with The Who, remember that band that opened that night at the Marquee Club? Did you just applaud because it was like, nice, get off? Or, did you like it? And he went, "Oh, no, you were good." No, I don't think he remembered, really. So, what happened then, of course, was that we finished our set, and the other guys in the band got out of the dressing room. I went to go out of the dressing room door. I couldn't open it. There were so many people in the club, and it was just heaving, and I thought, well, I've got to see what the fuss is all about. So the best thing, I'll just go back on the stage and hang out behind the drummer. And there was a piano at the back of the stage, they had a piano stool, and I just went and sat there, you know, and because I was intrigued, what the hell is going on? And then, of course, that was the first time ever Jimi Hendrix Experience played in England, the first gig they ever did. And I thought, my God, this guy's amazing. And I was thinking back to the afternoon when they were trying to learn Purple Haze. I didn't know the bass player just could not learn it. And I thought that, and then it just exploded into an amazing musical thing. And I'm watching all of my heroes sitting down there just with their jaws dropped in awe. And I particularly saw Eric Clapton down there thinking, oh my God, I used to be God. Of course, we know neither of them are. So that was the first show of the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and it certainly improved my social life, having been on the same stage that night. The people who had never took notice of me before, I then became, oh yeah, me and Jim, yeah. Oh, get you a drink? Sure, I'll get a drink. Yeah, thank you. I'll go out with you. You never talked to me for years. So it turned out to be a great night, the biggest night the Marquee Club ever had, actually, in its history. And we happened to be fortunate enough to be the opening act. And Steve has a little addition to the story, which he made a note of at the time.
Actually, it's a historic note which actually has been overlooked in the archives of rock history. And I think it's maybe of interest to people or not, but after the Beatles watched the Syn that night at the Marquee, they went off and wrote and recorded Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
We're not saying.
And we're not saying anything, but we haven't had any royalties or any kind of credit for it yet. But anyway, that's an overlooked historical note, which I think people should be made aware of.
Here, where once a castle stood, where once an angel cried, the evil and the good turned out to be a lie. Walked on broken glass and laid on beds of nails, fought in the great wars and lived to tell the tales. And taken in these hands are creatures great and small, who watch the mighty rise and watch the mighty fall. In the 21st century, yeah, yeah. This is the 21st century, yeah, yeah. Where once I was a boy, standing on a hill, gazing at the stars, wondering if they were real. Seen the northern lights, I watched the Southern Cross. I played with loaded dice, I won and yes I lost. Taken in these hands are creatures great and small, and watch the mighty rise and watch the mighty fall. In the 21st century, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the 21st century, yeah, yeah. The 21st 21st century. This is the 21st century. Yeah, yeah. In the New York Turnpike to the frozen lakes, all across the prairie to the Golden Gate, from the streets of San Diego to the palaces of Rome. This is our time. This is our home. Yeah, yeah. In the 21st century. Once there was a king, but now he's lost his crown. He thought he was a god, he was just a circus clown. Put guns in boys' hands and sent them off to war, to fight in foreign lands. But what are they fighting for? But now they realized the glory and the pain. But now they understand they won't get fooled again. No, 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 they won't get fooled again. No, no, no. In the 21st century. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in the 21st century. In the 21st century. Oh, this is the 21st century. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know you, you don't know me. Want the same things, we just want to be free. Too much to ask for our liberty. Be the people that we want to be. Do the things that we want to do. Follow the flight of a dove. Speak the language that we all understand. The language of love in the 21st century. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the 21st century. Yeah, yeah. The 21st century. This is the 21st century. Yeah, yeah. This is the 21st century. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So here's a song.
I like that.
Did you like that?
He writes quite a good lyric, you know. Stephen, he gets
Thank you, Chris.
to the
Thank
meat of the matter sometimes.
And Chris plays quite good on bass guitar, doesn't he?
Been known to.
So this next song could have been written about San Diego. It's called City of Dreams. Come with me to the city of dreams. Come and see into the future. Peace, love, and understanding. Let the dreamers dream, show you what it means. Let the dreamers dream, show how things can be what you want. Is what you dream, what you dream is what. Get up, get out, the world is waiting. Get up, get out, and show your face. You know that you can make the difference. You are a member of the human race. Get up, get out, the world is watching. Get up, get out, and take your place. You know, the spotlight shines upon you. You are a member of the human race. Member of the human race. And if you've got the hunger for life, and if you see the wonder before your eyes, go right out and take
of angels looking down from church spires across rivers of thunder, across valleys of fire. You got to stand in line, just a matter of time. Of angels of angels calling for freedom, breaking down walls. Generations of children standing shoulder to shoulder across the pages of history, getting wiser, getting bolder. Got to stand in line, just a matter of time. Voices of angels, voices of angels, calling for freedom, for one and for all. Voices of angels, voices of angels, breaking down walls, breaking down walls for freedom, breaking down walls for freedom, breaking down walls for freedom. promise, stand and deliver. You made a promise, stand and deliver.
Now, the great organisms which come forward are the prime atoms of the green and the line. These, according to their numerical compositions, differ in size and weight, and therefore find their appropriate form and appropriate place. Now, the great organisms which come
Thank you very much. I wish you good night. Thank you so much. It's been great to be here. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much. Hey, nice to be back. So soon. Thank you very much. We've had such a good evening, actually. It's been wonderful. I think Chris and I, when we were very young, very, very young, we were both choir boys. And we used to sing in churches. And it's nice to be back singing in churches again. Now we've grown a little bit. We used to be that. Chris used to be that tall once. Remember, he used to be that tall. But now we're bigger boys, and it's nice to be back anyway. And it's a wonderful venue to be playing. Actually, it's really a fantastic place.
Yes, I
We
think
were just saying what a good time it's been. I want to thank Tom Carey, actually. Carey, I beg your pardon. Tom Carey. I know somebody called Tom Carey. Carey, Kerry Driscoll, who runs this, and he put up with us postponing getting here twice, and was very kind enough to let us come and be here tonight, and we thank him very much. We're going to end with a song called Golden Age.
that you're holding there will one day become a hurricane. There comes a moment in the time of man when everything must change. The bells ring, angels sing, the streets turn a new page. Let the bells ring, angels sing, this is our golden age. But a boy shouting out for joy, this is our golden age. Nothing you can do about it. Mother Nature's on the rise. Nothing you can do about it. Gonna catch you right by surprise. Up ahead I saw a jester talking to a king who lost his crown. Said, hey man, you better run for cover. The whole world's turning upside down. King called out for a guardsman. Not a single one could be found. Nowhere. The bells rang, angels sang, history turned a new page. But a boy shouted out for joy, this is our golden age. The bells rang, angels sang, history turned a new page. But a boy shouted out for joy, this is our golden age. 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 Hey. This is a golden age. Golden age. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We're going to come out and do a sort of meet and greet after this, so hope to meet some of you later. Thanks so much.